Anti-heroes are fascinating characters that have captured our attention for decades. From the Joker to Walter White, we're drawn to characters who don't conform to traditional morality and who challenge us to explore our own limits and beliefs. In this video, we'll explore some of the reasons why we find these characters so compelling. Anti-heroes are complex characters that often have more depth than traditional heroes. They may have a mix of positive and negative qualities that make them captivating. They may have noble intentions, but their methods are often questionable. They may be capable of both good and evil, and their actions may not always align with traditional morality. This complexity is what makes anti-heroes so compelling. They challenge our understanding of what it means to be a hero, and they force us to think critically about the world around us. For example, Walter White from Breaking Bad is an anti-hero who starts off as a mild-mannered high school chemistry teacher who turns to making and selling meth to provide for his family after he is diagnosed with cancer. Over the course of the series, we see him transform into a ruthless drug lord who will stop at nothing to protect his empire. While we don't condone his actions, we understand his motivations and can't help but to be drawn into his story. Anti-heroes are often characters who have a tragic backstory that explains their behavior. They may have been dealt a bad hand in life, and we understand why they turned out the way they did. This tragic backstory can make them more sympathetic and relatable than traditional heroes. We may not agree with their actions, but we empathize with their struggles. We appreciate their humanity, and we can relate to their pain and suffering. Anti-heroes are often characters who have been shaped by their past, and we find ourselves rooting for them despite their flaws. For example, Tony Soprano from The Sopranos is an anti-hero who is a New Jersey mob boss. He is a ruthless criminal who has no qualms about killing those who get in his way. However, we also see his struggles with depression and anxiety, as well as his relationship with his family and therapist. We may not condone his actions, but we understand the pain and trauma that led him to become the person he is. Anti-heroes are often rebels who challenge authority and societal norms. They represent a kind of freedom that we may not feel in our own lives. They embody a kind of defiance that we find appealing. Anti-heroes are often characters who don't conform to society's expectations, and we find that refreshing. We admire their independence and their courage to go against the grain. Anti-heroes are often characters who are willing to take risks and make sacrifices to achieve their goals, even if we don't always agree with their methods. Anti-heroes are often more realistic than traditional heroes. They are flawed and imperfect, just like real people. We can see ourselves in these characters, and we appreciate their honesty. Most of the times they struggle with their own demons, and we can relate to their struggles. They may not always make the right decision, but we can see why they made them. For example, John McClane from Die Hard is an anti-hero who is a police officer. He is a character who is not perfect, and he makes mistakes along the way. He is not invincible, and he gets injured and exhausted throughout the movie. We can relate to his struggles, and we appreciate that he is not portrayed as a flawless hero. His imperfections make him more human, and we can see ourselves in his character. Anti-heroes often allow us to indulge in our darker emotions in a safe way. They may act out on our behalf, doing things that we may not be able to do in real life. Watching anti-heroes can provide a sense of catharsis, allowing us to release pent-up emotions in a controlled environment. We can live vicariously through these characters, experiencing their highs and lows without the consequences of our own actions. For example, Tyler Durden from Fight Club is an anti-hero who represents a kind of anarchy and rebellion against society. He's a character who is not afraid to break the rules and live life on his own terms. Watching him can provide a sense of catharsis, allowing us to release our own pent-up frustrations with society and the status quo. Our obsession with anti-heroes is due to their complexity, empathy, rebellion, realism, and ability to provide catharsis. Anti-heroes are characters who challenge our understanding of morality and heroism. They represent a kind of freedom and independence that we may not feel in our own lives. While we may not always agree with their actions, we can't but help to be drawn into their stories. Anti-heroes allow us to explore our own darker emotions in a safe and controlled environment. They provide us with a sense of catharsis that is difficult to find somewhere else.